I'm going to tell you some things about the spaceship you live on, called Earth, and about some of its passengers. First, I'd like you to meet the captain.
Gather round, sailors, and listen to me, and I'll tell you about Captain Entropy. Entropy is something that happens. It's so important. It functions something like a captain. Captain Entropy commands the earth and sky and sea, moving, glowing, strong and free, partly you and partly me. Children all know entropy because kids are full of energy. They give their energy where there is little or none. And work begins and work gets done. Well, here's what I mean. Do this right now. Take any object from a table or a shelf and slowly place it onto the floor. Go ahead now. Good. Feel the pull of gravity on your body and on the object. Pretend to fight gravity. Pretend the object is very heavy, but you are strong and you can handle it. Now lie down on the floor beside the object and try to shape your body to resemble its contours. Up the object and lift it slowly. That's right. Fight gravity with all your might and return the object to the exact place you took it from, like a movie running in reverse. You have just made magic. Your energy has flowed through your hands and you have caused an object to rise, even though gravity wanted it to return to the floor. By now you can feel that entropy involves a flow of energy. When entropy is around, energy flows from a point where it is more concentrated to a place where it is less concentrated. People call the existence of entropy the laws of thermodynamics. Now I want you all to get up off the floor, and half of you stand over here, and I want the other half of you to stand over here. Form two groups, one in front of each speaker. Now we're going to demonstrate what people mean by entropy. Hey, you over here, you're a coffee pot. You're a bubbling and you're boiling hot. Move your body as the coffee boils and twist and steam as it flies and coils. Now you over here, you're a lump of ice. You're stiff and cold, but kind of nice. Move your body in a firm position because of the condition of your frozen condition. That's right now, ice lump. You slide over to the coffee pot. In coffee pot, you boil your way over to the ice lump, nice and slow. And both of you connect and do just what comes naturally. The coffee in the pot stops boiling and stands still, and the ice lump changes shape and and melts on the floor.
Cold energy flowed from the cold ice lump into the coffee pot, which couldn't jump.
Energy flowed from the coffee pot and changed the ice to warm or hot. This natural flow of energy, which balances things for you and me, commands the earth and sky and sea, and it is led by Captain Entropy.
The path of entropy leads everywhere because energy seems to keep on evening itself out. You work or play all day, and your energy runs down, and you eat food, and energy from that food flows into you. Well, what if someday entropy's command becomes so great that everything stops? What if energy distributes itself so well that everything is equal everywhere? Would this mean that spaceship Earth would stop, or maybe land somewhere? Well, here's the answer. If you love to love, and if you love to move and be, you may decide to go on to something else. You might just rest your body and use the power of your mind to think and dream and imagine and fly. Maybe if all physical things came to a standstill, maybe your thoughts and dreams would still go on forever to other ships and other universes until the very entropy of your mind came home again and again and again.
Out of a big balloon, while a monkey smiles at a laughing moon, and a flower loves a parasite, while enemies forget to fight, and a witch in a garden laughs as she takes a spell from you and me and gives it to a galaxy that waits for Captain Entropy.
Air leaks out of a big balloon, while a monkey smiles at a laughing moon, and a flower loves a parasite, while enemies forget to fight, and a witch in a garden laughs as she takes a spell from you and me and gives it to a galaxy that waits for Captain Entropy.
We've got to hand it to ears. Those flaps on the sides of your head, which direct sound waves fairly well into their tunnels inside your head. Now, inside these tunnels are membranes which look like the skin's old-fashioned drums. Sound waves cause the drums to beat, and they move small bones which eventually trigger electrical impulses to your brain. And that's how you hear music. And Music is a kind of beautiful sound wave language used and loved by humans and other animals and plants all over spaceship Earth. Music has gone through many changes along with other arts and sciences and people. Earth people loved music so much that in order to make it, they used to beat drums and blow flutes and horns and shake rattles, plunk strings and sing and whistle and clap. The more music they made, the better they could make it. So they built better drums and flutes and horns with valves to allow more tones to happen, and boxes with strings of animal tissue or plastic or metal which were plunked or scraped with hair from a horse's tail, or fingers, or a plastic guitar pick. People invented magic switching systems along the trip, and these switching systems became pianos and organs and synthesizers, and people attached these and other instruments to computers, and they learned how to change the shapes or envelopes of sound waves, and how to control the effects they had on ears and consequently brains. And a long time ago, people started building machines which made their own music. Now, if this was the future, somebody might be telling you right now that music is made by just thinking about it. Just think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it.
It is said that our people have journeyed on this earthship for 50 million years. We are not a large people. We weigh 2 or 3 pounds and measure only about 20 inches from the tips of our wide, flat tails to the ends of our rubbery bills. We wear coats of fine red-brown fur, and there is yellow fur around our eyes, which can look to the right or left or to the sky, but never straight ahead. Perhaps this is why we often lose our way when we travel from the tropical streams or cold mountain lakes in which we swim and dig for shrimp and worms. Our feet are webbed, and we are excellent swimmers. Our females lay eggs, 2 at a time, and they hold and cuddle the eggs against their fur until our children hatch. Then, before the children can gather their own food, they lick milk, which flows from tiny pores in the mother's body onto her fur. Strange ones are children. Inside their bills they have teeth, which fall out as they grow. We defend ourselves from attackers with poison, which we secrete through spurs on our webbed feet. Our rear hips have ball and socket joints, which help us maneuver quickly in unusual positions. Mankind has destroyed many of us, just as it has destroyed many passengers on this ship. But I think we will survive. I think the wind and trees and tall grasses are whispering old knowledge to new ears.
Universal Unicycle Show.
This part of the record is to help you strengthen your muscles, so lie down on the floor and pedal your legs in the air. If you know it, you can show it. Everybody's wheels are turning round and round. Tell your friends to light both ends in. Turn your wheel with both feet off the ground. Now stand up and practice jumping up and down in the air. Now bounce a lot. Now pick up your unicycle, but don't pedal it until you're sure you got it up. If you got it up, you can keep it up. Feel the energy between between your heels. Ride it, steer it, never fear it. You will know it by the way it feels. Now, while you pedal your unicycle, pick another one up off the floor and turn its wheel with your hands while you pedal your own. Now, if you know it, you can show it. Everybody's wheels are turning round and round. So tell your friends to light both ends in. Turn your wheel with both feet off the ground. Find a friend and either end just. You can help somebody else to go. Don't be lazy. Join the crazy Universal Unicycle Show. That Universal Unicycle Show.
Here's a beat I can't resist. So let's get up and dance the American Eagle. 2 or 3 small eggs are laid in a nest, which an eagle made. Eagle eggs in our American nation spend 35 days in incubation. The eagle parents take turnabout, keeping eggs warm until the chicks hatch out. Now the kids are small for the first several weeks, and the parents pop food into their beaks. And if an eagle would make a wish for a treat to eat, it would want a fish. When a fish is caught, it's an eagle convention. The parents divide it and the kids pay attention. But later on, when a fish is caught, the kids divide it up like they were taught. Sticks and branches are eagle toys. Holding on is taught there, girls and boys. They pluck baby feathers as new ones show up. They keep on a-plucking as they grow up. Ma and Pa teach many things, like jumping up and down and flapping their wings. Eagle kids flap and jump and cry, and after weeks of practice they're ready to fly. But if they won't fly out of that nest, Papa keeps their food until they pass the test. At the age of 1, the kids leave home to make their way in the world alone. And after a 4 or 5 year wait, they settle down with a lifetime mate. Together they sleep and hunt and eat and fly as high as 10,000 feet. On a clear and cloudless summer day, they can spot a fish 3 miles away. When they build nests, they build heavy ones, some as heavy as 1 or 2 tons. Let's hope the eagle is here to stay as the emblem of the US of A.
Now everybody form a circle and sit down. Hallelujah. I'm going to take you on a trip in time to a point when I was a boy living in the province of Alberta in Canada. Walking Eagle, great chief of the Stony, also known as Morley Beaver, would bring his braves and their families into town. And while they visited the stores and trading posts, The tiny papooses, dressed in beaded buckskin and snugly wrapped to boards, were placed in a row on the store shelves. The papooses never cried. Chief Walking Eagle would tell me stories of life in the forest and of how he learned to forecast weather from the animals. His forecasts were always accurate. One day, the great chief invited me to a sacred celebration called a sun dance, which was being held by another tribe. Now somebody in your circle take a puff from a peace pipe and pass it to a friend. Pass it all around. Hold hands and sway from side to side. If you feel it, act out the scene in body sign language. Now it's evening. The Indian people have arranged their teepees in a giant circle around the edge of a valley in the sand hills. The ceremony is in progress. Each teepee glows from a small fire inside. Around the circle, 4 horses walk. On each is a man and a child, and they are singing. In the center of the valley is a giant teepee made from the tallest poplar trees. Hanging from the top are yards of brightly colored cloth. Inside the ceremonial lodge, the medicine men sit cross-legged on the ground in a circle around a painted buffalo skull and a small fire. They appear to be having visions. Perhaps they remember how it was when their great people lived alone in the land. On either side of the medicine men are short willow barriers. From behind one, a group of men or braves who wear their hair in long braids rises and sings. Now and then they disappear, and a group of women appear from the other side. Each woman has a small feathered whistle in her mouth, and the sound soars like a wild bird as the women move to the rhythm of the drums. The sacred Sundance continues for 3 days and 3 nights. This is a special ceremony because the son of another tribal chief had hurt his arm. On the 3rd night, even though we live a few miles from the valley, the drums are as loud and as intense as if they are in the backyard. Look out, and you can see the great sheets of brightly colored northern lights dancing in the sky. The drum beats continue loud and strong. The mountains echo their message. Before the end of the 3rd day, more magic happened. The roads and trails to town became filled with carts and wagons full of people from far across the mountains, even across the Great Divide. They had come to pay their respects to the boy who was rapidly becoming well, and from then on was called Cut Boy. And after the 3rd night, Walking Eagle and his people returned to the forest, some packing their tents and belongings on sleds made of animal hide, stretched between 2 poles and pulled by a horse. The drums began to fade. And all became quiet in the sand hills. Pass the peace pipe to a friend. Pass it all around. Never put it down, my friend. Never let it down.
The way some people measured used to come from the size of their feet, or a joint of their thumb, or the space from a nose to a finger bone, or the width of a hand, or the weight of a stone. Another way of measuring was given birth from the size and shape of old spaceship Earth. Instead of using a foot or a yard, the metric system is just as hard. 1 centimeter is just a pinch, 0.3937 part of an inch. Now if inches ate food, they'd be bigger eaters. They're 2.54 centimeters. Of course, these are only words. From here to here is usually from here to here. Doesn't matter what you call it. Now that you can relate a centimeter to an inch, it's easy to figure out how many centimeters there are in a foot, or a yard, or a mile. Millimeter, centimeter, decimeter, meter, decameter, hectometer, kilometer. Yep. Millimeter, centimeter, decimeter, meter, decameter, hectometer, kilometer. Yep. Now, Now, each word in our metric chant is valued at 10 times the word before it. For example, a centimeter is 10 millimeters, a decimeter is 10 centimeters, a meter is 10 decimeters, and so on. Just remember, each word of the chant increases 10 times as much as the word before it. Millimeter, centimeter, decimeter, meter, decameter, hectometer, kilometer, that's all. Well, that's not really all, because later on you'll want to think in other dimensions like square or cubic meters. And there's one more thing. That's a little micron or micron. It's only 1/1,000,000th of a meter in size. And that's a giant when compared with some particles of matter and antimatter. You'll see.
It was enough when we used to have to learn addition tables.
Fish.
Isn't he beautiful? You know what he is? A catfish.
Yeah, it looks like a fish.
Well,
Looks like a banana also.
Catfish makes a lot of sense for living and for self-defense. It doesn't purr, it doesn't mew, but it does things no cat can do. Well, catfish has, believe it or not, a sense that you and I don't got. That stripe you see running along its side can tell a catfish when to hide. It feels the touch of things far away, like fishermen or kids at play. It also acts like a thermostat to tell where the water temperature's at. Yep. Among the most sensitive creations, catfish is sensitive to vibrations. It feels motion from all around, transmitted through the air or ground. Yep. This fish has glands inside its nose. It can tell a bug from a rose. Well, the water runs out and the water runs in. Catfish knows a fish by the smell of a fin. But its sense of taste is so refined, it can taste with its lips or with its behind. Taste buds cover most every place, especially those fresh whiskers on its face. Papa holds each egg in his mouth and waits while every small